Hey guys. Hey, how you doing?
I'm good.
All right.
There we go.
Yeah. So
It's a little tricky.
I'm having router issues. That's my problem. When you do it the way I'm doing, you actually pull more bandwidth. So let's give everybody a chance to get in here. Sorry about that, guys.
We'll let them get in there. Hi, everybody. Hi, Lori. Hi, everybody. But I want to say something. It was really fancy, though, just so you know. I like the little setup you had there. So it was looking pretty good, my brother.
I'll have it working good. I got a brand new. I have a brand new router coming in. So.
Yeah, I was telling people say, what happened to your last live show? I said, hey, hold on, just getting fancy, man. He's updating everything. Let him do what he needs to do.
We'll get it worked out. I'm good at what I do. It's just I didn't know this was a brand new router, but I'm having weird issues with it.
This is when you have to bring in the big dogs. When you're trying to get to the level you are, big dog status. They come in and they fix all your equipment up.
Well, remember, I'm a low voltage guy by trade, so.
All right, they're starting to come in.
Yeah, let's give everybody a chance to roll in, and then we'll fire up.
So how you been anyways? How you feeling?
I'm doing a lot better. Doing a lot better. Thank you for asking. Good. Yeah. So.
Let's see here real quick. Let's go down the line. Let's see Paul, what's going on? Jill, what's going on? Lori. Hi, Lori. Let's see here. Serge is here. Yeah. What do you have to say? So Lori's saying there's a lot of feedback on my voice. So is it like echoing? You guys can hear? Just put me close to it, but you don't.
You know what? Let me put a headphone. Well, yeah, let me put a headphone in. See if that helps it. I've got. Oh, you know what? I can't.
Work with this, guys. What do you guys hear? Do you hear me now? Is everything good? Testing.
Can you guys hear Pimpy okay?
Can you guys hear me now? Is it better? Better now.
Okay.
So keep the phone not so close to the mic. Just turn it up. That might help.
You got it.
Okay. So can you guys hear me now? Just respond in there. Here we go. Okay, good. That's wherever it is right now, Jeff, that's obviously the best place.
Perfect. All right, they're still loading in. Let's give them another 5-10 minutes to at least 5 to 7 minutes to jump in.
Give them a few minutes. So just we'll kind of vaguely talk though a little bit. Dude, is it me or what the hell is going on in Iraq? There's been a lot of news lately, huh?
Right.
We'll share later on, but just generally speaking, there's been a lot of movement.
Yeah, it's awesome. Plus, the U.S. financial markets are climbing. You know, the oil's shooting up to 65, Brent oil, and you know the Dow slowly going up.
So you guys kill me with that Brent oil, right? You know that Iraq's oil is it's called Basra. Just so you know, I know where you get that from, but I'm just telling you, the other oil is $8 or $9 higher than Brent crude. Just so you know, and Iraq's oil is called the Basra. It literally is like 8 or $9 higher than Brent crude oil.
Wow.
So that's the one we want to watch. That's the good one. And that's part of what's known as the OPEC group. And we know that Iraq is second to Saudi in the OPEC group. So, yeah, how long have you been in? I don't know, you want to answer questions? This is generally talk while waiting for everybody to chime in. How long have you been in this investment, if you don't mind me asking?
I've got 10 years behind me. I got it in 09. What about yourself?
Nice. You're an old salty dog.
I am. How long have you been in?
People from the other channel know this. I've probably been in now about 12 months, 13 months.
Okay.
But where people pick up my brain is when it goes to research, I'm a research hound. So when I, as you know, like on my other channel, I talk a lot about, I try to educate them on the economical side of it is what it is. So you'll see me talk a lot about the economical side of it. I will try to bring people data that they can use, data that they can see for themselves so that it'll help them to make their own decisions, what I do. So a lot of you guys know a lot of different areas that I don't. And that is, I don't get into the news side of it as much as a lot of other people do. I just give my opinion on why, from my analytical background, why we should be where we are. Hi, Sam. I see you guys. For 10 years, good Lord, I know you're more than ready for this to happen, huh?
15. Wow, that's a long timer.
Yeah, I see that, Lisa. Good Lordy. Look at George, 2007. So let me ask you, okay, I want to get everybody in the comment section, you guys can hear my voice, so let me ask you this. So, as long as you guys have been in this, some of you guys have been there 15 years, 10 years, 5 years, whatever it is, it's been a long time. So let me ask you this. Have you guys ever seen as much movement towards the RI as we've seen in 2019? I'm just curious. Jeff, you as well.
I've never seen it. This is a record year. 19's a record year for me on news movement.
So I meet, people are like, well, yeah, you've been in that long. But here's the thing. I'm like, well, there's a lot of movement. There's a lot of excitement. So, yeah, it's 2019, and especially the last couple of weeks, again, barrage of movements. The 2019, for a lot of people that I talk to that have been in this game for a long time, they're saying, dude, seriously, we have not seen this much movement towards our goals like we see in 2019. It's been a long time.
Guys, is the audio okay? Let us know if the audio is okay for you. Can you guys hear Pimpy talking okay?
Something about the China deal. I see your post, Neil. We're going to talk about that a little bit later on. And there's absolutely no doubt that the China deal does affect the Vietnam Dung. There's no avoiding that. Trump was using those countries around the South China Sea. So Malaysia, Taiwan, Vietnam, Philippines, all those countries, he was allowing them to manipulate their currency just so he could put a hurt into China. But once this deal is done and China I did find out, Jeff, in this step one, the currency manipulation has been addressed. So I will say this, once China proves that they're not going to manipulate their currency and they show you the true value of the yuan, you're going to see that other countries are going to be forced to do the same thing. And that includes the Vietnam Dung. John, how you doing?
Hey, Pimpy, I went and got a different microphone. Let me get it dialed in real quick. It might work a little better than the other one.
I just want to make sure everybody can hear me because they're saying some people are having problems with. It looks like they're having problems with me again.
Correct.
Are you guys hearing me okay again?
I think this mic will correct that.
Can't hear much better, so there's like a mixture of
love
and hate.
All right, let me try this mic right here. Hold on. Let me change it in settings to this other mic I just brought in.
Okay. Testing. We all good? I see A-OK there from Daniel. Are we good?
All right, hold on. Mike. Here we go. Let me grab this other
Richard,
mic.
how you doing? Good evening, sir. Lisa, we're going to talk about the dung tonight. So we're not just talking about the dinar. We'll talk about both the Vietnam dung and the dinar as well. So in this particular show, you're going to have both. So it looks to me like, what the heck, man? Just lower your side a little bit. Is that possible? Can you lower your side without lowering mine?
Me? Yeah, I can lower the phone volume. Hold on though. I'm in a setup screen and I got to figure out how to exit out.
Because Dave is saying it's hard to hear me, but you're loud. Is what it looks like.
Oh.
You either push the phone closer to the mic for me, and you lean back farther. Does that make sense?
It is. Yeah. Hold on. I just added another mic, so give me a moment here. I got to figure out how to exit out of this screen though. I'm in like
Sorry, people, we're all amateurs here.
I don't. Oh. Is that better, guys? Can you hear better now?
Okay, let's try it. Listen to Jeff. Jeff, go first. You guys hear Jeff?
Test 1 2 3. Test 1 2 3.
Jeff, good, guys? Is he too loud still? Okay, can you guys hear me now? Are you moving me more closer to the... So this is Pimpy testing. 1 2 1 2. Can you guys hear me now? Okay, it looks like it sounds good. Okay, good. I am tiny. What do you mean, Lori? I'm tiny. I'm only like 1'2", and I weigh about 15 pounds.
Well, hold on. If Pimpy's loud, I can pull him back from the mic. Pimpy, do some more testing. Try that.
Okay, no, I don't know. Did somebody say I'm loud? I heard it's good. I'm good. Testing. 1 2 1 2. We're all good. There we go. We're good.
Okay, I think we're good. All right.
What's going on, my brother? Let's go ahead and get started.
All right, we're going to get started, guys. Thank you for joining us. As you guys all know Pimpy, but Pimpy, thank you for joining us, bud. I'm not going to give you the big formal. You guys all know he's got his own amazing channel. He presents a lot of good news, and it's well thought out. And he does a great job. Thanks again for joining us. So let's get into this, guys. I had some amazing articles. You know what, guys? I'll do a video after this, and I'll let me quiet down so I'm not yelling. I feel like I'm yelling. Okay. Here, let me tell you what I found. And again, I'm going to do a video on all this so you can actually see it in print, so you'll know it's fact and it's not just me talking. Okay.
Nice.
I had found a well, you guys know that going back to 2014, they put out an article and they said that they delayed the deletion of the zeros for a period of 5 years. Okay. One of the stipulations in that, they basically said Iraq had to remove their corruption, which meant the CBI was waiting for them to form a stable government, okay, to change the rate and get the corruption gone. Now, let me fast forward now into 19. I actually showed this article to Pimpy earlier today, so he got a chance to see it. I actually found an article from February 27th, and that date's important. Here's why. On February 27th, it basically said that the government of Iraq was celebrating their newly completed formed government, like it was done, and it said that right in the article. And then on the same day, they had a national it was like a big national conference. What that was is the national conference was all of the whole newly formed completed government together celebrating their new formed government being complete. Okay. Now, so here's what I'm telling you with this, guys, is that's factual proof that the government was done. That's what the CBI was looking for back in 14 when they said they delayed the deletion of the zeros for a period of 5 years. Okay. Now, now you guys heard me 2 days ago when I brought you the news article talking about the temporary budget. Okay. The temporary budget, I told you, was so that buys them time. Inside that article, the temporary budget article, it said that that the temporary budget would be a month to month time frame for them to float them.
Yeah, but it only covers what type of tell them it only covers what type of expenses.
Correct. Only government expenses, no operating expenses, no government programs. Okay.
There you go.
So now here's the kicker in this, guys. I brought with you, and again, guys, this is my opinion. This should not be used for financial advice, but I have to give you a date because the article gave you a date, okay? Because I only basically share the truth and bring facts. Now, so Pimpy, I'm going to ask you a question. Out of all the articles you've seen through history, and this goes with all you guys too that are all in on this. Looking back at all the articles you've seen that have talked about deleting the zeros or increasing the exchange rate, have any of them given you a partial window of time, or do most of them only reference a year for increasing the exchange rate or deleting the zeros? Pimpy, go ahead.
Well, we've seen one. The one you're talking about was from 2014, said that they wouldn't actually do a rate change for 5 years. So they literally said a rate change for 5 years. Now, again, that could just be generally speaking, but what we're looking for, and you know this as well as I do, and the IMF has a checkoff list. Okay, that kind of gives you a timetable. And so what we do is we look at that checkoff list and we say, well, have they met these criteria? Because you can make all these speculative guesses all you want, but it does no good if your monetary, or I should say your currency is not recognized internationally. So in order for it to be recognized internationally, that benefits us, they must have met all the criteria that are on there. I think we're down to the last two, which is Article 140 and the HCL law, if I'm not mistaken. Does that sound right to you?
Yes. Yes.
Now, you know, I think the biggest hang-up is going to be not so much the Article 140 as much as the HCL, because the HCL has always been controversial, because basically what the United States is saying is, look, hey, let's let these outside companies come in and take huge control of your oil. And recently, Iraq's been like, you know, I'd rather the Iraqi people control it and hold it. So that's what we're looking at right now. So if the disputed areas are one thing, and we see a lot of cooperation going on. Did we not just see Mike Pence was just there recently talking to the Kurds, telling them, look, if you don't even have to wait for Iraq. If you want to sell your own oil, just let us know. Remember that?
Right.
So, yeah, I think 140 is no longer an issue. It's just might not have been implemented yet. I think that has been resolved. The HCL law, that's a whole different story.
Correct.
That might take a little time.
Right.
Because the origin of it was that the United States was saying, hey, since we're helping you, let our oil companies come in there and take care of the oil. The Iraqi people have been fighting this since 2007. So I'm curious to see what direction this goes into. But I think you're going to see a compromise because there's a bigger picture outside of the oil. I think in the Middle East, and that is Iraq and Saudi opening up the port and them being the so-called mecca of the trade world going into the Middle East. This is my opinion. Right,
but with Pimpy, with the with most of the articles that reference that referenced deleting the zeros, most of them only gave a year reference, right?
Well, here's okay. Just so I want to make sure, because one of the videos I put out, all people lost their shit. So just let me put that out there.
Okay.
I want you to understand that there's a difference when it comes to dealing with the zeros. Depending on inflation, countries will either add zeros to the currency, like the Zim dollar, or they will delete zeros. Okay? It's based on inflation. Now, there's a difference between the deletion of the zeros and redenominating. Here's where people get confused. The redenomination of a currency hurts us if they go in the wrong direction. So what I mean by that is, if for zeros up to 25,000, and we want to redenominate it, and it's $25 in value. That's not what we want. That happens when inflation is super high, super high, like 1,000, 5,000, 10,000. Iraq doesn't have that problem. I've been preaching this for now over a year. That's not the problem. Inflation is low, so people slow down, calm down. You're not going to see that type of thing happen. If anything, well, let me ask the group a question, if you don't mind, Jeff.
Go for it. It's yours.
You guys are out there. Let me ask you guys this. If you think about where Kuwait, and I'm talking about the Kuwait dinar, the value of the Kuwait dinar, look where they are as a country, look what the value of the Kuwait dinar is, and let me ask you guys this, and let's see your answers. Just go ahead and shoot them in the chat. Do you think the Iraqi dinar will be as valuable as the Kuwait dinar, or more valuable than the Kuwait dinar? Think about what both countries have to offer. Now, it's not just oil in Iraq. It's not just oil in Iraq. Don't forget they have the second largest gold deposit ever discovered in Iraq, and nobody's mining it. Not only that, the gold is shallow, which means the cost to extract it is even lower than normal. So they have gold now, they will have oil, and they're second only to Saudi Arabia in production. I think that, this is my opinion, Jeff, you can chime in on this, I think Iraq is actually going to pass up Saudi Arabia in a couple of years in oil production.
And they could. They probably will.
And plus, they have dates and nuts and everything else that goes along with it. So, I just think the Iraqi dinar, in my opinion, is going to be more valuable than the Kuwait dinar over time. That's just my opinion.
Sure. Oh, I agree.
Everybody hit smash the thumbs up if you agree, or just say yes in the chat if you guys agree. Do you think the Iraqi dinar will be more valuable than Kuwait? Just hit yes, hit the thumbs up. Type yes if you think that. Okay? Just share that out there.
And to add to that, Pimpy, Iraq has more minerals in their soils than most other Middle Eastern countries as well. Gold, diamonds.
Iraq has, they have more to offer than Kuwait does.
Right.
More to offer.
And they're bigger.
No, I think it was, I might get the name wrong, but I think there was a question from somebody named Jerry said, are they going to be pegged to the U.S. dollar, or are they going to the Arab basket? They're going to go. We know this. They're under contract, Iraq is, to be part of the Arab, it's called the Arab accounting dinar rate. Okay, so how you calculate that is this. You take whatever the SDR rate is, and I think it's like 138 right now, and it's times 2.5. So that puts Iraq up there about 348. Okay, for those, some of you guys know about this, some of you don't. So there's no way. I just find it hard to believe. And it doesn't mean I know I'm right. It doesn't mean I'm right. Again, I'm going to share what Jeff said earlier. It's just my opinion. It's not meant for financial advice. I'm just sharing my opinion. My opinion is there's no way in hell the Iraqi dinar is going to be lower than the Kuwait dinar. I just don't see that happening. Okay? They have so much growth potential. So much growth potential. Kuwait's already established. We still have reconstruction. We have the oil production. We have the gold that's there. Look at all the trade agreements we've seen in 2019. Did you see all these new trade agreements, Jeff?
What's that? Sorry, bud.
No, it's okay. I was saying, did you see all the new trade agreements in 2019?
Oh, yeah, tons of them.
With different countries?
Yeah, tons of them. Reconstruction agreements.
What is your opinion? Do you think they would be more valuable than the Kuwait dinar?
Oh, big time. And to add to that, yeah, big time. And you got to go one layer deeper in that, Pimpy, too, because look at how long, I'm sorry, let me quiet down. Look at how long Kuwait has been getting oil from their soil, and look how long Iraq's been getting oil. See, back when Saddam was in charge, he wasn't touching the oil, versus Kuwait's been, pumping oil for many years. When Iraq, this is all new for Iraq since they took down Saddam, so they have vast amounts of oil in their soil still compared to Kuwait. Plus, they're much larger in physical size.
Oh yeah. Well, you see how quickly they went from the back of the pack to second in line. And we know that the current administration, we don't need to mention no names because I don't want people to make this into a political thing. Okay, just look at the current administration told Saudi Arabia, work with Iraq, bring them into OPEC. They increased the amount of oil they produced, and it became second behind Saudi Arabia. That gave them more influence and say-so on decisions regarding OPEC. We saw that in 2019. You've seen it.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So, again, 140 is important. It's the disputed territories. We know this. I don't think that's as big of an issue as the hydrocarbon law. That's different.
No. From what I've seen in the news on both of those, Pimpy, and I've actually shown my group articles on this, so it's not my actual opinion. Both 140 and the HCL have actually been on the books ready to go since 2005. Okay. And if you look at the fact that the current Constitution today maxes out at Article 139, that means they have to amend both items to add them into the Constitution to implement them. They're both ready to go as far as implementation. They don't need further law or legal work done behind them. They need to be amended and added to the Constitution. So that step, notice how in the last few months they've talked about amending a bunch of laws and getting them added to the Constitution. That's part of those laws, 140 and HCL. But that step, let me ask you a question. Do you think they can do that before the rate change, or does it have to come after?
Oh, man, I think they need to come out together. I don't know if you could do one without the other. Am I wrong on this? You see what I'm saying? Like, you might be able to do Article 140, but the HCL,
No, that's not what I'm asking. I'm saying, no, they will go together, but my question for you is can they implement those before the rate change, or do both of them have to be amended to the Constitution and then implemented after the rate change is what I was asking. Are they dependent on the rate change is what I'm asking.
That is a good question, because here's my feeling on everything, and that is this. Outside investors are not going to want to be interested in doing anything with Iraq if they have a weak currency. I don't think they can do reconstruction with a weak currency, because we're talking about inflation now, is where we're going. So
right.
If Iraq is trying to rebuild its country, you know what I mean, and they're using the current rate, that means they need more banknotes in order to cover a lot of the expenses in order to do the reconstruction. Now, it makes sense to me that they would change the rate and have a better purchasing power of their banknotes. Therefore, they won't need as much currency and to cover the cost. Does that make sense to you?
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
But also,
does everybody out there hear what I'm saying? You can just say yes or no. I think in order for them to do reconstruction, in order for them to do the HCL laws, they're going to have to change the rates. Now, if you don't agree with me, go ahead and say so, Jeff.
No, I agree with you 100%. That's why I brought up the point, too, that both of them have been on the books, ready to implement since 2005 for the last 15 years. And I raised that because they're waiting on something to implement. And that something that they're waiting on, very simply, in my opinion, is the rate change, international status. Because an example, Pimpy, is this. Say you're an Iraqi citizen. See, per the Constitution, the citizens of Iraq actually own the oil. So there's like Kuwait, like the state of Alaska, they're supposed to get oil checks because, again, they own the oil per the Constitution. But here's the thing. If the currency is not internationally recognized, how could they collect checks? If, say the Iraqi citizens, some of them lived outside the country, they couldn't collect checks or money from Iraq if they're outside the country if it's not internationally recognized. That's the point.
Now without it directly affecting inflation. But wait, I want to say something real quick in the chat.
Go ahead.
What the heck man brings up a good question, or a good point. Siemens isn't new there. It's funny because I belong in the ISX group. I own shares of Iraqi stock, just so you know. Jeff, you're buffering for whatever what the heck, man? I like that name, by the way. So he says Siemens is already in Iraq preparing their electrical plant. Do you know that Siemens has been there for decades? But I agree with you. I agree with that statement 100%. That right now they're already there and they're implementing. They need the power grid in order to do reconstruction. I think they're in there now taking care of that before we move into the 2020 season, so that they will have the power necessary in order to do reconstruction. What is your opinion on that?
Well, I agree with you 100%. They've got to get, the rate has to change in order for reconstruction. The article that came out 2 days ago talking about the temporary budget, the very last sentence said right in it that the reforms are also in that 18 budget. The reforms have a price tag on them. So that makes it post-rate change. Anything with the price tag, the reconstruction, article in 48CL, all that involves monies. And I was actually going through the news just the other day, and I was finding a whole bunch of old articles from the second half of 2018, because there was some news I was looking for to present to everybody. And while I was going through all that, I found a whole bunch of reconstruction articles from the second half of 18 where they talked about starting it, but obviously they haven't, because we haven't seen any articles yet where they've started reconstruction. Go ahead, Pimpy.
No, look, I agree with everybody that follow me on the other channel will know this. I was stupid enough to make a prediction. I had many reasons to believe that last April the rate would change, and I was wrong. Okay, but I have a reason for that. Okay, I really thought that was going to happen last April. We have seen a lot more steps happen now. For those who don't know, April is the start of the new fiscal year for Iraq. And I thought to myself, there's no way they're going into the summer. There's no way how they're going to go into the new summer without reconstruction. I was wrong. It is starting. It started part of it, not all of it. Real quick, Richard is asking us Richard wants to know about the auctions. We know that if they're going to a single currency, and they are, into a single currency system, that means they no longer will use U.S. dollars and Iraqi dinar. Iraq is pushing for this right now. The only way they'll use U.S. dollars is for trade purposes, but in country, it's going away. There is no more dual currencies. There's only the Iraqi dinar. So in order for the Iraqi dinar to actually hold value, what needs to change is the auctions need to stop, and they need to stop right away.
Definitely. No, I agree with you 100%. Once they change that rate, in my opinion, the auctions will end.
All right, go ahead and talk for a couple minutes. I'm going to let my dogs out the door, because if not, they're going to start barking. So
you got it. You got it. Hey, guys, this would be a good point for me to remember. Yesterday, I said there was an article that had a date in it, and it was in reference to the that I felt that actually revealed kind of the date or time frame as to when the rate should have changed this year. I'm just going to share that with you now. And guys, I'm going to do a specific video with all these articles in it to show you that factual proof, since I can't deliver it right now. And right now it's just words out of my mouth. So here's, again, I just told you about the two key articles. One talked about the, it was on, two of them, they had the same date of February 27th. And my long timers, you guys all remember this because I showed it to you right as it was happening on February 27th earlier this year. The first one said that they finished the formation of the government and they were celebrating that on February 27th. Again, they finished the government. And then they also had a massive celebration separate from that, where in the article, it was the national, it's like a big national conference. What it was the whole newly formed government, all the newly elected officials of the completed government were present at this conference. And basically, guys, what that reveals to you is they now, based on one of the last things that the CBI said, that they needed in regards to stability, for them to consider deleting the zeros and changing the rate, was they wanted to see Iraq have the corruption gone and have a new government. That's what that did. Now, so yesterday I told you about this article with the date. You guys already all saw it. What it was is it was the March 20th article from this year. And again, guys, I am not a financial advisor. I'm not a fiduciary. Do not use this as financial advice. Okay, this is my opinion. Now, that article from March 20th, what it said to you guys is that Iraq needs to maintain the stability of the dinar and control the inflation by increasing the exchange rate during the current legislative term. Okay? Now, here's what I want to raise to you. Here's what I was trying to bring forth earlier. If you look back at all of the historic articles that we've seen talking about deleting the zeros, the only narrow time frame that all of those articles have ever given was just a year reference. They'd say in 2017, we're going to delete the zeros. In 2019, we're going to delete the zeros. This one did not give a year reference. It gave the legislative term, which spanned from March through June. And then remember, they actually turn around, and normally their legislative terms are 4 months, but they also rolled and brought July into that. Now, here's what I'm trying to raise to you on that. Guys, back when Kuwait, remember Kuwait, this is a father and son deal. George Bush Sr. was Kuwait, George Bush Jr. is Iraq, father, son.
Yep.
Kuwait actually changed theirs on March 24th of 91. That's a Sunday. Now, earlier this year, the weekend of March 21st, 22nd was that exact same weekend historically when Kuwait changed their rate in 91. Now, notice how Iraq put out an article 30 days after they just finished celebrating the formation of the government, telling you they plan to increase the exchange rate during the current legislative term. They released that article on Friday, March 20th. I strongly believe that they put that article out on March 20th to prepare the citizens, and I believe they had full intentions of changing the rate over that weekend of March 21st and 22nd. That's why they released the article on the 20th, Friday. Okay? Now, guys, I'm just going to spill the beans. I'm not going to hold back. I actually, looking at all that historical data, I actually believe that's the exact same time frame. They're going to change the rate this year. I'm sorry, next year in 2020 of Q1. I fully believe they're going to do it over that weekend of March 21st and 22nd. I know a lot of you don't like dates. I'm not trying to give you dates, but it's just how I see historical data. It's how it comes to me. And
No, I'll take March 20th. For those of you who don't know, my birthday is March 20th. That would be one hell of a birthday present for me.
there you go. Party at Pimpy's house.
Not my house, Vegas. You got to get out there, brother.
There you go.
All my people that follow me on it from the other channel know we got a hoorah happening once this rate change happens. We're all meeting up together in Vegas. We invite you out there because there's a lot of Patron about to be drawn.
Oh yeah, we'll set something up, man, for sure. So anyway, so long story short, there, I fully believe that based on that, I believe first off, what I was trying to ultimately share with you is I believe they had full intentions of actually changing the rate earlier this year over that weekend of March 21st, 22nd, because like I said, as of February 22nd, they fully completed the formation of the government. They celebrated it. They met the CBI's demands and requirements for stability needed to change the rate. So 30 days later, they turn around and put all this information out as though the stage was set and ready. To me, guys, that's very revealing. Now, let me go into another direction with this, though. So I believe the rate would have changed. So now the next question you guys would have is, why didn't the rate change? What delayed it? Pimpy, let me ask you a question. In your opinion, who do you think's in charge of the rate change, the timing, and the control of it?
Yeah, well, that's up for debate, but I can't help it. We know that the U.S. president does control what happens with the IMF and the World Trade Organization, as well as the World Bank. So if that's the case, it's my opinion that Trump, knowing that we're going into an election year, this is just my opinion, people. I know some of you guys hate Trump, some of you love Trump. I'm just going to say this is my opinion. And that is, going into the 2020 season, that's election year, wouldn't it benefit Trump if a rate change happened? He took the dinars that the government was holding, paid down a huge chunk of the deficit, plus the rate change would create several new millionaires in the United States that would give a bump to the economy. I'm just throwing that out there. That doesn't mean it's right. This is my opinion. I just want to throw it out there.
What is Trump's campaign thing, Pimpy?
What is it? What?
What's his campaign theme? The motto. What's his motto for? What's his theme for his re-election on his campaign?
Well, the re-election is keep America great.
No.
First it was
What is he?
right?
What is he? What's his? The strong economy. A strong.
Be careful because you got a whole lot of. I can look at your group and tell you right now, there's a whole crap load of Trump supporters. So, what is your question?
My question is obviously Trump's re-election campaign theme would be a strong economy.
Yeah.
Okay. And
wouldn't it make sense that if you create a bunch of I do want to bring this up. Me and you talked about this, Jeff, and this has been haunting me. I told you in an article that I read, and people, please, I stress this in my videos. I'm going to stress it here on Jeff's show, and that is this. When the Kuwait dinar happened, it created a lot of new millionaires. Here's the sad part of that story. More than 85% of them were flat broke within 5 months. I just want to throw that out there. So what I want to say to you is this. Prepare now. Start planning now. As if you have the money. I want you to start planning on what you're going to do with your money to make sure that you're never part of that 85%. Okay? So, having said that, in Trump's strong economy, can you imagine if you created a bunch of new millionaires in this country? Oh, good Lord. The economy would just, people are going to go crazy with the money. Because there's some people out there that got so much damn dinar, they're going to buy houses, cars, Bugatti, you name it, Tesla, Ferraris, you know what I mean? It's going to have a bump in the economy. It did when Kuwait changed their rate. We had a bump in the economy. It's going to happen again. You're going to have a lot of speculators out there gambling on how to keep their millions. I believe, although I'm not a fan of it, I believe one of those areas is cryptocurrencies. I think there's a wave we could ride in that area because you're going to see a lot of speculators go in there. I believe it is. So, buy quick, hang tight, sell quick, don't hold long. But for me, I'm a gold and silver guy. And I say buy gold and silver. That's the way to go.
there you go. So, tell us about the China trade. Do you think China trade has an impact on this, and have there been any new changes with the China trade?
Yes, because people brought this up in there. Somebody said that China has nothing to do with it. No, that's wrong. And I'm going to explain to you why. Somebody did point out to me right before we came on the show, Jeff, that part of this step one agreement is this. You're going to love this. The currency manipulation must be and will be addressed. So for those of you out there that might have caught me on the other show, I've said this a million times, and this is accurate. I can tell you this. Trump is using those countries that surround the South China Sea. So we're talking about Malaysia, Taiwan, Vietnam, Philippines. Look, he's allowing those countries to manipulate their currencies so that he can help, so they can help Trump hurt China. But if China, once the agreement is voted on and it passes, right, and China does change their currency to true value, there's no way in hell Trump is going to allow these other countries to continue to manipulate their currencies. He's already called them out, especially Vietnam, as a currency manipulator, but didn't do anything about it. Not yet. Not yet. People don't realize this. Trump is changing the policy within the World Trade Organization. And there are some stiff penalties for any country, including the United States, for manipulating your currency. So once this is done, it's going to change everything. There's no way now. Once the China deal has been voted on, they change their currency like they promised in this new agreement, and they put it to its true value. No other countries in the South that surround the South China Sea are going to be able to manipulate the currency. There's no way in hell that's not going to happen. Neil, I see what you're saying. You're saying it doesn't change, but it does. Because if you think about this, Neil, let me just comment on something, Jeff, if you don't mind.
Go ahead.
When we see companies leaving China, where are they going to? Indonesia, Taiwan, Vietnam. That's where they're going to. So to say that the China deal has nothing to do with the Vietnam deal is wrong. They're going there because the labor cost and there's no tariffs there. And their currency has been manipulated. We all know that Trump called Vietnam out for manipulating their currency, but he didn't do anything about it. Malaysia is the new so-called, what do they call that? New Silicon Valley is what they're calling it. So they're allowed to manipulate the currency so that they can take manufacturing jobs away from China. They're all moving to where? Vietnam, Malaysia, Taiwan. These are the countries that they're going into. And why are they able to do that? Because their currency is devalued, is either matching China, and if it's matching China, you want to go there because why? There's no tariff penalties in Malaysia. There's no tariff penalties from Vietnam, not yet, and all those other countries. But there is in China. So think about that. Just think about that, Neil. I just want you to think about that. Okay? What is your thought on that, Jeff?
No, I agree with you 100%. I agree with everything you said. Let's go one more direction. This one, a lot of gurus haven't talked about this. And guys, keep in mind, Pimpy and I greatly respect each other. Pimpy and I have not talked about this, so this is going to be, we could totally have a difference of opinion on this, and regardless, we're going to respect each other. So this will be a good one. Here's a question for you. How much? We already know that the I want to kind of lead into the M0 figures. Iraq's got approximately 74 trillion. If you look at the M0 figures, they have approximately 74 trillion dinar in circulation. Now, that's not just in Iraq. That's actually around the world. That includes dinar held by countries and citizens in many other countries. So my question for you is this, because as far as that 74 trillion goes, because there is one famous guru that always says that Iraq cannot just change the rate and will not just change the rate to 3+ overnight or in one day because there's too much dinar in circulation. So we kind of have to start with the building blocks on this. Pimpy, how much dinar, for example? Well, first off, let me help you guys. The way we got paid for the war, let me calm down. I feel like I'm talking loud. The war in Iraq. Okay, guys? Yeah. The war in Iraq, okay, guys, wars that we've initiated, we don't fight for free. So the way that the U.S. government got paid back for the Iraq war was with the Iraq dinar. When it was printed, our federal government received a bunch of it. Now, every time I bring this up, it turns into a huge argument. So again, this is just everyone. Well, I actually have semi-factual data on these numbers, okay? So Pimpy, I wanted to ask you, how much physical dinar do you think our U.S. government holds in reserves in payback for the war?
Okay, so you asked me this question, and I made a video, and I realized after I made the video, there was a problem. Because people were saying, do you think there's physically X amount of banknotes? And I said, no, that's impossible. So I said there's approximately between 70 and 90 billion, with a D, not T, physical notes out there. And I quickly learned that that's not what they're asking me. What they wanted to know was the banknote value, okay? And I was like, okay. And then people were slamming me on that video. I get it. I get it. Because some people are asking about how many physical bills are out there. Some people want to know about the actual currency value. So there's a huge difference between the two, okay? So ask me your question again, because I just wanted to clarify that.
How much?
I made a boo-boo.
How much physical dinar do you feel that our federal government has in its reserves, and they've received? What was their payment for the cost of the Iraq war? Because that's how we got paid for the war. Was it?
No. Are you asking me physical bills or dollar value?
Physical bills. Physical bills.
Okay, I can just tell you this. I know, and I posted an article on one of my videos that showed you that we hold 4.5 billion dinars, not trillion, billion. The value of the banknotes is a different story altogether. So I want to make sure that we're clear on this.
Yeah, I'm asking for not.
Okay?
I'm not asking the USD value. I'm asking physical note count.
I'm going to make a video to show people because they need to understand that there's a huge difference between the amount of physical bills created. I mean, $1 trillion fills up a football stadium. And so we're talking about hundreds of trillions of dollars. Do you really think there's hundreds of football stadiums worth of dinars floating around? No, are you kidding me? No, that's not happening. There's billions that have a value in the trillions is what I wanted to say. So, 4.5, the article is very clear about it. This is from the Federal Reserve. We hold 4.5 billion dinar notes, physical notes. Now, what the true value is, I have no clue.
Well,
could it be $1? No. Could it be 10? No. Could it be 10 or 10,000? 25,000? I don't know. But the point is, I think people conflating and mistaking the two together, and it's causing a lot of confusion in the dinar community. Am I wrong on that, or maybe I'm wrong? Jeff, what is your opinion?
Well, let me throw a curveball into your thoughts. And again, guys, we could totally have different thoughts of opinion. I was previously years ago, guys. I'm not fond of this. I'm not fond of the ringleader of this forum anymore. The reason I was part of this forum a long time ago, guys, was because they have some of the best news hounds on the planet. And it was KTFM, which is now KTFA, Mr. Frank 26. I'm not a fan of him, okay? But they have some of the best news hounds, and they have some of the best data there. So that's why I was there. Now, let me tell you what happened while I was there. There was a gentleman there. He actually went. You can fill out a form. It's called the Freedom of Information Act. It's a real form. Yes, as long as the information you're requesting is not classified, you fill out the form, submit it, they'll give you an answer. So this gentleman did. It was actually signed by the recipient. I think it was possibly the U.S. Treasury in this case, because that would have been where it went. And they sent him back a PDF copy, and he actually posted it on the forum. Let me tell you what his question was. He said, how much physical dinar does the U.S. government have and hold within its reserves? This is the blatant answer that the U.S. federal government gave back. They said they gave a generic answer, semi-generic, but they said in excess of 20 trillion Iraq dinar. Now, go back to George Bush's original statements at the start of the war in 2004. He said the war in Iraq would pay for itself and not cost.
No, he didn't say that. His finance person did that.
Okay,
but I know what you're saying. No, it's right.
Yeah.
Okay, I made a quick correction.
Go ahead.
I said FISA. It's not FISA. It's called a FOIL report, just so you know.
Right.
Which is the Freedom of Information Act. My bad.
No worries.
But I know what you're talking about. And it was his financial guru. And he said, stop stressing people. The Iraqi war will pay for itself. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Right.
Good point, though. You bring up a good point.
So my point is this. The war, and you've heard comments out of, if you guys actually go back to, you know what, guys? It was actually, I think it was, there was actually a YouTube video, and you might remember this, or some of you guys might. There actually was a video. I think it was a Sean Hannity video talking about the Iraq dinar. And I think it had a quote in it from Obama. Okay, and I want to bring this up. If you guys want, I could try and find it real quick, and just let you hear the audio. But basically what Obama said, this was back in probably, I think, somewhere from 2011 to 2013. It was from Sean Hannity of Fox News, but there was a clip in it, or an audio clip from Obama, that actually said, where he made a statement, and he said that the U.S. deficit was going to be paid off. back in around 2011 to 2012, and that kind of had to do with Sean Obama said that in a new segment, but it was brought into this clip. So my point is, you have to kind of look at the whole big picture when you're looking at all this. So the federal government said that we have approximately in excess of 20 trillion Iraq dinar within our reserves. That's not my opinion. That's what was disclosed with that Freedom of Information Act. So we guesstimated about 30 trillion. But if you were Bush, you would have designed this in a way. I'm not saying they will, but your engineering thought from a financial perspective would have been to pay off our national deficit through this. So that's why I would actually agree with those numbers. I would feel that they would have put all these numbers together in a way where they could have used this to pay off our national deficit. Go ahead, Pimpy.
No, but tell me this would not look good. If I'm Trump, I'm just gonna throw this out there. If I'm Trump and I'm going in my 2020 re-election, wouldn't it not make sense, knowing what we know about the currencies held in our reserves, would it not make sense to go ahead and push Iraq? But okay, I want to bring something else up. Trump is making sure that Iraq is being expedited through the World Trade Organization. So if he's helping them get there, oh God, this is only adds to the value of their currency. The more I think about everything that's playing part right now, the World Trade Organization expediting the application of allowing Iraq to be a part of that. If you take that in consideration, going into 2020, which is a re-election year for Trump, oh my God, I can only imagine. It would make sense to me that he would pull the trigger on this. People go, he doesn't have any say, so the hell he don't. Let me tell you why. Because he helps influence the World Bank, and he helps influence the IMF. If that's the case, wouldn't it make sense for him to pull the trigger in 2020? It just would help pay down our overall national deficit from where it's at, 22, 23 trillion? Imagine bringing it all the way down. I'm just throwing this out there. People calm down. Imagine bringing it all the way down from 22 trillion down to around 4 trillion going into a re-election year, plus creating a bunch of new millionaires. Oh, good Lord. Good Lord. Jeff, am I wrong? You feel me on that one?
You're spot on, bro. Plus, in addition to your comments, you have higher U.S. financial markets. Oil's rising up. Oil's now 65. Brent oil. The Dow.
Brent oil is Basra. That's the Iraq oil is not Brentwood. You know what? When I hear you say that, and I hear the other one person say that, guys, Brentwood. Just so you know, it's called Brent crude oil. Comes out somewhere by the Netherlands. The true Iraqi oil is called the Basra, and the Basra is way more costly than the Brent crude. So Basra is the oil, and it's like $8 or $9 per barrel higher, my brother. That means the value of the money that they're bringing into Iraq is much more higher by $8 or $9 per barrel. So if you take that times the millions of barrels that they produce, we're talking trillions of dollars. What does that do to the Iraqi dinar? It adds value to the dinar. See what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, big time. It just boosts it tremendously.
Yeah, $8 or $9 per barrel.
That's right. Let's look at all the current facts, Pimpy. What do you think about current facts? You've got a new prime minister tentatively on the way in, who's got to form his cabinet. Do you think we're waiting on that? Could that delay the rate change? Does it hinder it in any way if it gets prolonged or delayed? Obviously, the 2020 budget. Do you think the 2020 budgets has to be approved in any way before the rate change? Do you think that impacts the timing of the rate change?
I think they're going to go hand in hand. To be honest with you, the real budget. You might know this area better than I do because I deal with analytics, so I look at economical numbers a lot. But when it comes to politics, I try to pay attention to it, but it's hard for me to because I'm too focused on numbers. So, did I not hear that they already have a replaced government? Am I wrong?
They haven't.
The government there now?
They said they're kind of tentatively ready to announce one at the drop dead 15-day mark. They said they're going to announce one in.
The protesters not demand that a portion, and a huge portion of the new politicians be, you know what I mean, run-of-the-mill average Joe people.
Right.
These polished Iranian turds. We don't want them in office. As a matter of fact, they're pushing out all the Iranian puppets. I might be wrong. You might know more about this than I do. But it seems to me like people are meeting their demands. And who's helping the protesters is the Trump administration.
You're right. You're spot on with that. They are demanding. They need to get rid of the Iranian garbage and bring in someone who's more neutral, not part of any specific factions. Someone who's just more neutral. Kind of the way that, in a way that a body was. Kind of like a body, sort of.
Well, I do want to bring up something that people seem to be missing. Jesse, you could chime in on this. Have we not heard a lot of chat recently about the lower denominations and the minting of the coins?
Bingo, yes, we have.
Yeah, what good is it to bring in lower denominations? They have no value. But when would they have value?
After a rate change.
Happens. Yes, sir. You have any comments on this?
Yeah, so if you guys remember, I actually reposted a video from August on that, and I kind of did it to compliment, Pimpy gave you guys the original article from Shabibi back in Shabibi's videos from 2011, talking about how they needed to change the rate to kind of curb the inflation and maintain it and keep it under control. And again, guys, that was from 2011. And then I find you more articles from this year, from present of 19, telling you that they needed to deleting the zeros as a tool used to control and manage the inflation. And then in respect to that, what they turned around, they went heavy into great detail on the coins. And what they said is, they said countries that currently have coins in circulation today only have coins when their currency has fair regional value to it. Because the coins are costly to mint and manufacture, and as well as they're useless without having a reasonable rate and value behind the coin. Go ahead, Pimpy.
No, look, what good is it to create lower denominated bills if they have no value? It doesn't make no sense. But the article that I did read said this. Look, the lower denominated notes, paper compared to coins, is this. The paper tends to rip, tear, get damaged easier than the coins do. So, they were talking about why the coins make sense. But what I want people to focus on, because just so you know, I caught crap because that Shabibi video that I posted from 2011, I'm like, dude, you guys who cares how old it is? Focus on the message. That's what I wanted to say to people. Just like this. When it comes to the coins or the lower denomination, focus on the message. And the message is this. If they're going to produce lower denominations, if they're going to produce coins, what good is it if they have no value? Does that make sense to you at all? No, it doesn't make sense. The rate change has to happen. And we saw a lot of articles these last couple of weeks talking about the coins, talking about the lower denominations, talking about the Article 140, talking about the ATL laws. The last 4 weeks, we've seen tons of those articles. Jeff, am I wrong?
You're spot on. 100% right. And yeah, they even went into great detail explaining that other countries that currently have coins in circulation, to even have or utilize coins, requires the currency to have a good value behind it, a reasonable value. Otherwise, there's no point in even having the coins, because you would have to carry too many coins to buy anything. They would be useless.
Yeah. Unless the coins had real value, you would walk around with like 2-3 pounds of coins that weren't worth the crap. No, you know what? I'm gonna say something. I'm gonna quote a protester. I'm gonna quote a protester that said this. I have $250 of dinar in my pocket. It's not even worth a quarter. That's what they were mad about. So, if you're going to tease the protesters, you got to give the people some purchasing power. What the hell is it? Somebody said to me, hey, Pimpy, listen, I know a person that does accounting in Iraq. They make 100 million dinars as their pay. And I was like, okay, so what do you think of that? Oh, it sounds good. Sounds like a lot of money. It is if the rate change happens, okay? Why? Inflation would be outrageous. Think about this. You would need to create more banknotes, more paper notes in order to keep up with what's coming up. It's just common sense tells you. The more I think about this, reconstruction cannot happen without a rate change. Coins cannot happen without a rate change. Lower denominations make no sense without a rate change. It just doesn't make sense.
No, it doesn't. Pimpy, got a question for you. Do you feel that a gentleman just made a comment? And guys, please start sharing all your thoughts, because you're actually kind of giving Pimpy an ideas to help, kind of lean more in the direction that favors you with, any information you need. So a gentleman.
Yep.
Yep.
I see him from the other channel. I just want to say real quick, my bad.
No worries. His thoughts are, he thinks that if, and guys, we're not going to bash you. We're actually going to work with you on your thoughts. So we'd love to see and hear your thoughts on this.
Yeah, there's no hanging up on people, no talking over them, no cussing you out, no flipping you off. That's not happening here, okay?
So Biker Ken thinks that, or feels in his thoughts that if Iraq had to wait until the weekend of, or till late March of Q1 next year, that the demonstrators might start tearing the place apart. What are your thoughts on that? First off, as we've noticed, I've raised a few key points. Let me share those real quick because I think they're critical right now. When the demonstration started back on October 1st, I told my audience, I said, guys, the demonstrations won't have any impact on the rate change or the timing of it. I said, that's just for the citizens. That's it. I said, and then kind of since August, what I've been telling my followers is that you're going to see a point where Iraq's going to come out and Iraq's going to show you that their hands are so tied because they are so dependent on the rate change that there's just not a damn thing they can do. That's playing out. That whole philosophy is playing out right now in regards to the demonstrations, because if you look at the government's reactions, look at what they've been able to do to give back to the demonstrators. The most they're able to do is pull out the PM and put a new PM in. They couldn't offer reforms. They couldn't offer anything. They turned around and said that everything that the demonstrators want is now going to go into the 2020 budget because they're post-rate change items. So my point is, the government has shown you there's nothing they can do and their hands are tied because they're waiting on the rate change. So my point is this: the demonstrators know that more time, that little bit more time is needed for the government officials to set the stage and prepare all these items to get them implemented, because they've already came out saying that reforms, reconstruction, and all that is inside the 2020 budget. So my question for you is this for you, Pimpy. Do you think that Iraq could actually? Do you think that if they don't meet the demonstrators' demands until, say, tentatively Q2, because everything I just told you guys is in that 2020 budget that the demonstrators want for their demands. It's all in the 2020 budget, which probably won't be implemented.
It's got to happen Q1. It's got to happen Q1 because the beginning of their new fiscal year is April. So that means all the new budget, all the reconstruction money, all of it, it has to be done within the first quarter. What's your thoughts on it, Jeff? I can't help but feel between now and the first quarter of 2020, we're going to see some huge changes.
Yeah, well, and remember too, the fact, to piggyback on what you said, Pimpy, they came out 2 days ago telling us that they were rolling out a month-to-month temporary budget for Q1 to give them a chance to complete the 2020 budget, get it approved. But remember, because it needs 3 readings, the budget probably most likely will not get completed until probably the beginning of March, which means, if you have to look at accounting periods, so they probably wouldn't be ready to implement that budget until Q2. I'm just saying, but it probably won't be finished until the beginning of March because it needs 3 readings. What are your thoughts on that?
But no, what's the real question?
So the real question is, do you think the demonstrators?
No, yeah, how do we appease the demonstrators to keep them from being real? And that is, they need jobs. Look, they need jobs. Unemployment there is at an unbelievable level. So if you start hiring people, even if the rate change hasn't happened yet, these people are making money. This is happening in our country. We see it right now. We have more jobs available than people that are available to work on. So if you give them jobs, they start going out. There's a sense of pride taking place. You can bypass or pacify the protesters for a period of time, which is giving them jobs. Now, am I wrong on this? What is your feelings on that?
No, I agree with you 100%. They need jobs. And one article, I've seen a few articles talking about that they are in the process of creating jobs for the citizens. But that, in reality, though, out of all of the demands, I feel that's about the only thing that they can do in regards to, because the citizens want reforms. They know they're entitled to Article 140, HCL, Reconstruction. They want all that. But out of all of that, I think, and also the government also promised them some money too. So I think right now, the only thing that the government can do to meet their demands was throw a little money their way and start to create jobs. I think those are about the only 2 things the government can do, because they can't implement anything else until everything else is post-rate change.
No, there is one other thing, and that is get Iran the F out of that country.
Yes, right? that too.
All those politicians that are Iran puppets, get them the F out of Iraq. Okay? I think that's, if I had to prioritize what the protesters really want, that has to be number 1. Get Iran's influence out of that damn country. All right? Get them out of there first, because they're only there to hurt the country. They're not there to benefit it.
No.
Once they're out of there, create jobs. Get new politicians in there that are not corrupt, are not Iran puppets. Change the laws. Start reconstruction. Give people jobs. Let's get these rocking and rolling, gosh damn it.
Right. Definitely.
So, Jenna, do a little gambling.
Exactly. So,
what do you think, in your opinion?
They
had a guesstimate, because we don't do data rates. But in your opinion, what do you feel?
Regarding
when do you think this is going to happen?
When do I think it'll happen?
Yeah.
I'm looking probably just towards, can I throw out a month? Is that fair? Can I give a month?
No, it's fair. What?
I'm looking to March. I think March is my window of time, because they've already told you, and they were very clear on that article from 2 days ago that talked about doing the temporary budget. At the last sentence, they said right in it that the reforms are inside the 18 budget. I know for a hard fact that the reforms are actually post-rate change. So my point is, if the reform, and so let's do the math on this for a second, Pimpy. They said that they have to do a temporary budget month to month, which floats them through Q1. Okay.
Yep.
That would tell you that they did that because of the 2020 budget, that time is needed for the 2020 budget. But then they turn around and say, oh yeah, there's also reforms in the 2020 budget. That tells you right there, guys, that they cannot implement the 2020 budget until after the rate change, is exactly what that means. So, and this is where, again, you have to look at accounting periods. I mean, the budget is a brand new set of accounting books, and it's a large amount of money. So they're not going to implement, if they don't finish that budget until, say, even the beginning of March, they're not going to implement it until Q2. But
but you know their fiscal year starts in April, so that makes sense what you're saying. It makes total sense. So for us it might be Q1. For them it's Q4. If you think about it, their fiscal year starts in April. That's why I made the mistake, and I said to everybody on the other channel, I really thought April of 2019 the information that I had. So, as we're talking about it now, I'm agreeing with Jeff, and that is, there's a good possibility, there's plenty of reason to believe, and I mean plenty, more reason than I felt last year making this prediction. I think Jeff's right. I think it's going to happen in the first quarter of 2020. Okay? That's just my opinion. Okay? I think Jeff's right. We're going to see this. I would love for it to happen on my birthday. That would be one hell of a birthday present. But Jeff, I agree with you, my brother. I think it's going to happen within the first quarter.
Okay. I'm trying to be careful here because I'm not arguing with you on this, Pimpy, but I don't know if I know for a fact what is it? Kuwait's fiscal year does go from April. Okay. I know that for a fact, but I've looked at a lot of Iraq's budgets, and within their budgets, it actually says that their budgets do span from January through December in their budgets.
Okay, my bad.
No worries, man. No worries. So yeah, I don't. Either way, when do you think their budget would be implemented? Just in your opinion. Again, guys, we it's all good. We have our own thoughts.
The first quarter.
Perfect. Oh, well, you think they would implement it in first quarter, or do you think that if they needed needed most of the quarter to approve it, they might not implement it till second quarter?
I think, again, this is my opinion, March seems to be the target date because I think everything's going to rock and roll no later than April. That's just my opinion, though.
Okay.
I thought this in 2019. I'll tell you, I was wrong. I really, really thought that in April of 2019 we were going to see this. I was wrong. But again, now take what I had thought in 2019. There's even more of a reason again to feel like coming into March of 2020. There's a good damn chance that it's going to happen again in April, like I thought. Where you at on this?
I'm with you 100%. I'm in March. I think it's going to happen. The way I'm looking at, you know what? Share your thoughts with me on this. What I'm of the opinion they have to do is obviously I think they need most of Q1 to approve the budget and also get the rate changed. Okay. What that does is that sets the stage for them to actually, again, because to me, I'm looking at more of a set of accounting books on this. And that's why I'm strongly looking for again, not the rate change, guys, just the implementation of the budget. Along with that point, the rate change would already be done. So by having the budget done and the rate change done, that allows them to walk into a new accounting period of Q2 to get that budget implemented, because they just told you that the reforms are in the budget. So it's dependent. The budget's now dependent on the rate change, and that makes the budget married to the rate change, because as reforms, reconstruction, 148 CL, all that's in the budget, so it's now married to the rate change. So that means all that would have to be done, and that way when they walk into Q2, they can implement the budget around the beginning of April.
Yeah, so let me ask you this. Can reconstruction happen without the rate change?
No.
I said no way.
It can't.
That doesn't make no sense.
It can't. No.
That will kill their inflation.
That plus there's another spin on that. Pimpy, I kind of presented it from a different angle with my group. What I said is that they can't pay. They can't actually pay contractors with non-internationally recognized currency. So, the currency is not internationally recognized. So if they have foreign contractors coming in, they can't pay them.
Oh yeah, good point. No, you can't. No outside investor is going to come into Iraq without an internationally known or recognized currency. It's not going to happen. Especially if you add in the fact of this. Iraq is moving from a dual currency, which is the U.S. dollar, and Iraqi dinar. They're moving away from that to a single currency, which is the Iraqi dinar only. So if you're going to make that move, there's no way how outside investors are going to come in. It's just not going to happen if you don't change the rate. Am I wrong on this, Jeff?
You're spot on. You're 100% on track. Question for you: if they were to have done, I want to go somewhere with this and kind of lead into why everything is where it is right now. Prior to say 2017, would Iraq have been able to do any reconstruction, say prior to 2017?
Not with ISIS all in their ass.
True. But you're right there. But there's another angle I was kind of going with it. Okay, so let me ask you this: prior to 2017, how many different currencies within the country of Iraq was Iraq utilizing?
I think 3.
Yeah, the euro, the dollar, and dinar.
Yeah, there you go.
Yep.
Yeah.
So.
And now they're down to 2, and I believe they already made the move to be a single currency country.
Correct.
So any country.
Correct.
Any country, not just Iraq. Any country right now, in order to strengthen the value of the country's currency, it must stop using dual currency monetary system. You can't, because people will always go to the strongest dollar. We all know right now that no economy matches the United States. It's ridiculous. The United States dollar is so strong right now, nothing can beat with it. So it makes sense where other countries are like, no, I'd rather have U.S. dollars and not my country's currency. So how do you strengthen your dollar? By stop allowing the dual currency. Just stick to your currency. That's what you need to do. So I think that answers the question about auctions. People are like, are the auctions going to stop? Yeah, they should have stopped. I thought they stopped already.
That's true. As of approximately when the war ended, around the end of 17, beginning of 18, what Iraq did is I know that there's been one certain guru, and guys, I'm not here to attack or bash, so I'm gonna leave names out on this one, or guru names out. But there's been one guru that keeps running around that say Iraq's now Article 8. We'll say that's only halfway correct. Iraq is not technically, they're not officially Article 8 until their currency rate changes. Okay, but what basically, so here's the deal. As of roughly the beginning of 18, what Iraq did was they got rid of their MCP, or they implemented the MCP. What that is they removed it. That's the multi-currency practice where they're no longer allowed to use any other currency going forward other than the Iraq dinar. That's why they were no longer able to pay for reconstruction, for one, because they couldn't pay outsiders in dinar, and then with Pimpy's angle, he presented it too, because it can spike inflation. So with all of that, with the multi-currency practice, they squashed that, and now they can only use the dinar going forward, roughly from about the beginning of 2018. And that what that is, guys, is that's the training wheels by the IMF. They put the training wheels, or the diapers, on Iraq, the pull-ups on them, to force them to now be under Article 8 policies and practices to become Article 8 compliant in preparation for the rate change. So the rate change by itself would be the last step to be fully Article 8 compliant. What are your thoughts, Pimpy, on that?
No, HCL law doesn't happen without a rate change.
Yes.
It's impossible. It's impossible. You might be able to get away with Article 140 happening. You might. But there's no way in God's green earth, no way in hell, HCL law is going to pass without a rate change. It's just not going to happen.
Right.
That's my opinion.
You're spot on there. And why is that?
Well, because no outside investors are going to come into a country in which the currency value is so low. What that does is it affects inflation. So if you bring in all these outside investors, they start employing your people. They need to produce a larger amount of dinar because it doesn't hold the value. That doesn't make no sense. So what you do is increase the purchasing power of the Iraqi dinar. So that means it takes less bills to buy more products. Does that make sense? So
Yeah.
think supply and demand is the best way to look at it.
Right. Makes good sense. So what do you think about the new the elections pending right now with the new prime minister? Do you think that could delay the timing of the rate change?
No.
Nope. Okay. I'm on board there with you. I think it's.
I still think me and you are on the same page. This 2020 is target. We're talking about within the first 3 months, something's going to happen. Now, it could be anytime. Let me throw it out this way. Anytime between now March is a window that I think it's going to happen. Now, what people don't understand is when Kuwait changed the dinar, they didn't make this big announcement. They didn't have shit happen in the news. They didn't happen that way. They just did it. That's the same thing that's going to happen to Iraqi dinar. You're going to wake up one morning, people are going to be blowing up your Facebook page, blowing up your Twitter account. People are going to be kicking the bejeebs out of you because they're not going to announce it. It's just going to happen.
Right.
Right? It's just going to happen.
Bingo.
Okay? I think it's going to happen within the first quarter. There's plenty of reason why. I was wrong last time when I said April 2019, but I had plenty of reason to think why. But there's even more now to think that going into 2020. I'm not trying to blow smoke up people's boo-boo. You know what I mean? I'm just saying, if you look at all the factors that make up what we're talking about, we are more there from 2019 than ever before. Everybody that I've ever talked to that's been dealing with dinar, going back 16 years, 15 years, 10 years, they're saying 2019, they've never, ever seen so much movement towards making this happen than they've seen in 2019. Jeff, you know better than I do. Am I wrong?
No, you're spot on. You're nailing it. They do need more time and a little bit of preparation, and they'll be there. So.
Okay, can I, if you don't mind me, we need to talk about it. I got a text person. Can I just make a quick announcement?
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay, for those who are out there right now paying attention to the show, I have a 4X tax professional. We're going to do a live show just like me and Jeff are doing now. As a matter of fact, I want to invite Jeff, his followers, and anybody out there, any other so-called guru out there, because, look, you don't need to do Patreon. I don't need none of that. There's so many questions out there right now regarding taxes and your currency that you've invested in that I've had this professional say, look, I'll come on your show, I'll answer questions. So we'll do a live show, and we can do it the same way me and Jeff are doing now. So I'm inviting Jeff and any other person out there because I think it's important that these people, just so you guys know, this is a friend of mine. I brought it up to her attention. She already knew what was going on. Okay, this is what she said. It's smart to ask questions now because there are things that you can do now before the rate change to help you lower your tax burden. So I'm inviting everybody to come watch the show live. You're more than welcome to ask questions in the chat. I have my own Facebook group that has the same name as my YouTube channel, which is Pimpy's Investment Chat. So what I want people to do inside the Facebook group is ask your questions there so I can send them to her in advance so that she can make sure she answers these questions 100% accurately. After we go through all those questions and answers, then we're going to take questions from the chat group. So this is your time. If you have questions about any questions regarding taxes and your investment, this is the time. She specializes in 4X tax. That's what she specializes. This is what we're dealing with, okay? So it's not like she's this real estate tax person or a regular tax person. No, she literally specifically specializes in 4X tax. So this would be a great opportunity for everybody to get your questions answered, okay?
Do you guys hear that? Pimpy's going to offer, he's going to have a foreign currency tax professional for you guys. What I want you guys to do is, I've put my email out a ton of guys. If you guys want to email me any tax questions you may have, I'll compile a spreadsheet for Pimpy and I'll get those to Pimpy for you guys on your behalf. Okay?
Thank you. And that's the same with anybody else. Look, I'm learning. I told Jeff this. I go, look, I'm learning the hard way. There's obviously some kind of YouTube etiquette. I don't want to cross any boundaries. I'm inviting people openly, but I don't want to go on their group and say, hey, I want to invite you. I don't want to step on nobody's toes. So if other so-called gurus are hearing this message tonight, along with Jeff, look, get your own supporters' questions. That's all you got to do. And then forward them to us. My group in Facebook is called Pimpy's Investment Chat. Same as my YouTube. Send the questions there so that I can get them to her and she can get them in advance to make sure that she's answering your questions questions properly. Then after that, if there's any more lingering questions, you're going to be free to ask her anything you want, and she's going to answer it live on air, okay?
Do you guys have any anything important you want Pimpy and I to help you? Questions, certain topics, subjects you want us to help you with at this time? We're getting close to ending.
Yeah, this actually was a long show.
It was. Yeah, guys, I apologize for the technical difficulties. I got a new router coming in. My router kept dropping out, and that's why I couldn't stay connected.
Don't be so damn humble. Everybody, he's being humble. Just become a big dog. He's trying to get up there, man. He's getting some new equipment. If you guys missed it, he started off the show with some fancy stuff. It looked good. It looked cool. I ain't gonna lie. It looked real good. I was like, oh, this is looking good. It didn't happen, but just trying to become big dog. Okay, so just let's support Jeff, man. We love what you're doing, along with other people. Okay.
Yes, we'll get it on the next one, guys. We'll have it done. I just need that new router coming in so I stay connected. So, all right, guys, I think we're gonna wrap up. I think you guys, anything else you want to share, Pimpy?
No. Somebody's asking me if I still talk to Mr. Brando. Look, I'm just gonna answer this question because, real quick, if you don't mind, Jeff.
It's yours. Do it.
I don't have any ill will towards Mr. Brando nor Miss April. I love her to death. She's a sweetheart. My thing is, I don't have anything towards him. Look, we just have creative differences. So I wish him luck. Yes, people, I don't need you slamming him in the chat. I know he said some things. That's okay. I don't care. But as far as where I'm coming from, this is what I say. I wish them all the luck in the world. I really do. Just go ahead. We just had creative differences and differences of opinions. So, no, we don't talk anymore, unfortunately, but it is what it is. So, I don't want to dwell on that, and I don't want to keep kicking this can around. I just wanted to address that right now. I don't have any ill will towards Mr. Brando nor Miss April. They're great people, and but we just decided to go in our own direction. I just wanted to share that.
Thank you, Pimpy. Guys, we greatly thank Pimpy for being here. Thank you guys for joining us tonight. I apologize for all the challenges, but the next one will be amazing. We'll be able to incorporate video, news articles, documents. You'll have videos of both Pimpy and I. Once I get the router, I'll beta test it, and we'll get it up and going. So, anyway, guys, I wish
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, guys, and have a great night. We're going to make this better. Pimpy and I got along very well. We'll probably do a few more for you guys. If Pimpy's always welcome over. So,
yes, sir. I don't mind at all.
All right, guys.
Thank you for having me. Everybody have a good evening. I'll talk to you later.
Take care, guys. Have a great night. Thanks for joining.